G'day everybody, Ed here, and something has to happen. Seriously, this is getting absolutely ridiculous. About 3 or 4 months ago on Twitter, there was an argument which I lost. I hate losing arguments, but I definitely lost it. And that was that my basic contention, you've heard this from me before, is that follow you, follow me is ultimately something that's extremely bad for Twitter. What do I mean by that? That means that when somebody follows you, you automatically follow them back. Now, I made the argument and I lost the argument. Basically, it became absolutely okay, in fact almost mandatory, you became a Twitter snob if you didn't follow everybody who followed you. And it's really come to a head this week. Something has to happen. Twitter has to act because it's getting insane. And the mathematics of it, Twitter will not be able to cope with the infrastructure in the way that they've set it up. What brought me to this point? First, there was an awesome video by Seth Godin, if you've seen that. I incredibly respect Seth Godin's work. And he put into language something that I've tried to and failed dismally at, which is this incredible... You've never heard me publicly speak about follower numbers. I will not speak about follower numbers. I will never do. I think it's crass. I really do. Are you that needy that you need to skite about your followers? Is life that desperate? I mean, it is so kindergarten how many friends you've got. And he pointed out that it was just crazy. And here's the thing. Because... Let's try to put this in a chain of events. Because I and a few others lost the argument about following you, follow me, it became almost mandatory that new people on Twitter were told that you should follow everybody who follows you. Despite the fact that makes Twitter unusable. And I don't care, people say to me, oh, you can use TweetDeck. Well, you know what? I know a lot of friends who have the option to follow people in TweetDeck. And the truth is, they don't. They don't segment, they don't group, they just ignore the main Twitter stream and miss out on half the functionality, probably 6/10 of the functionality of Twitter. They don't do it. It's a fraud. It is an absolute out-and-out fraud to think that because you follow me, I follow you, there's some sort of bond there. There's not. Sorry, there's just not. It's rubbish. I follow 103, I think, people, and that's because I either work with them, I'm a huge fan of them, just like, I can be a fan of people. Love John Mayer, love Hot Dogs Ladies, love Stephen Fry. They are entertaining, their tweets brighten my day. Here's the good news, I can see their tweets, because if you follow a few thousand people, hey, that'll mean you have a few thousand friends, well done. But it's unusable, and you'll miss actually the good stuff. You'll miss the stuff that makes thing. And these same people who are following everybody then have the temerity to then turn around and say, oh, well, Twitter's useless. It's all noise. It's all noise. My Twitter is not noise. The signal to noise ratio on my Twitter feed is almost 100% pure, interesting information because of the way that I personally do it. And I resign myself to the fact that, okay, I'm in the absolute minority, I'm a snob, I'm a Twitter, whatever you call it, I lost, and I could accept that until this week, because you can see this situation going out of control. For a start, a whole bunch of people are offering direct message services, so that you can do a direct message to every single one of your followers, because part of the whole reason of following somebody is it gives you the ability to direct message between the two of them, which I find extraordinarily useful. Really, really, really useful. Because you get an email with a direct message and you get the direct message yourself. It's like double bang for the buck. It's an extremely reliable way of communicating with me. I rely on it a lot. But of course, if I followed everybody who followed me, that would give 18,000 people the capacity to to send a direct message, and it would just foul it up. It would just foul that entire system up. I might add, on my Twitter page, you've got my email, you've got my phone number, for goodness sake. My actual phone number is on my Twitter account if you wanted to call me. But I'm a Twitter snob. Okay, so all of a sudden, so what does this mean? It means that people are experiencing spam for the first time, because the same people that were all going, yeah, follow everybody who follows you, you're not a Twitter snob, were backed by the people who want to spam you. Because if you follow everybody who follows you, then that means you don't know them, you don't have a clue who I Love the Ladies is. But when all of a sudden you start getting spam in your direct messages and you start complaining about it, well, you know what? There you go. And that used to be manageable, but of course there are now a bunch of programs where you can sign up and you can get auto DM. Now, people tell me everything I do is spammy, but let me tell you, those auto direct message, is that not spam? If that's not spam, what is? But you allowed it because you follow everybody who follows you. So, you know, but again, I lost that argument. You're right, I'm wrong. Then, I'm now looking at my Twitter feed, because it's interesting, because I had all of my people who follow me, you get an email, of course, and I, just as a matter of course, would save that using a particular rule into my folder, into a folder. I just have it set up on automatic. Now, as it turns out, I had some problems with that particular email client on one of my computers. And it meant for the last couple of days I've been receiving all of those Twitter emails, and it's a couple of hundred a day. And here's what I see, because I've actually taken the chance to have a look at that. There are now what can only be described as completely insidious and disgraceful programs which basically have this robot hammering people's Twitter accounts with follow requests. And if you don't follow them, they automatically unfollow and then hit you a couple of hours later with another follow request, so that you go and follow them. And they keep hitting you and hitting you. And then, of course, and this is to my eternal shame, because sadly I am part of the same industry that these rock dwellers are part of, there are now all these how to get thousands of followers on Twitter, sales letters and all of this sort of thing. And it makes me sick to my stomach. Why? Because some of these people are, in inverted commas, my colleagues. And it may, except for schoolyard, I've got more friends than you, it makes zero sense. Because those same people, why are you getting all these followers? What's the reason for getting all of these followers? Do they know you? No. Is there any connection there? No. Is there any use whatsoever, as Seth Godin says, apart from popularity contests? Now, there are two types of people that will have a Twitter fan base. One is inverted commas celebrity, and actually Shannon pointed this out, one of the great 30-day challenges, that while I know a thing or two about Twitter, I use it intensely in my business. It's the most important communication tool I have, and in fact I could not have run last year's 30-day challenge without it. I could not run my business without it. But I have a fan base, and so yes, I'll always grow my Twitter, my Twitter thing, because people are interested for some reason in what I have to say. Because I'd like to think, as a general rule, at least 50% of my, tweets are of content of things that I found interesting, that I think the people who follow me would find interesting. The rest of it's about reality TV, but there you go. Somebody like at Ed Chazonnet, that's somebody who you really should follow on Twitter, because he has no fan base to speak of. It makes it very hard to have a fan base, actually, Ed. But he is followed by some of the most influential people about, because of the way he utilises Twitter. He is an absolute Twitter ninja. and uses it brilliantly and has influence, beyond, way beyond it, because of various circumstances. It's very hard for him to travel, let alone get out of the house. So that is somebody that uses Twitter really brilliantly, because they have no fan base. So, okay, you build up and you get thousands of followers by following you. What does that do? Well, one, it ruins your Twitter experience, because there's so much noise that you are truly, if you're being honest, is not of any interest to you whatsoever. It's not of any interest. Now, I know that's completely unpopular, and the vast majority of people who respond to this will say, you're just being a snob again, Ed. But it's the facts. And the people who say, the people who use these programs, and you can tell the people who use the programs, it's very simple, they follow more people than follows them. It's very simple. And Twitter sort of put the brakes on it, but not. And this is where I think Twitter have a real issue too, because they are encouraging this sort of behaviour by allowing these auto-follow programs. I hear whispers that they're going to lower the boom, and it wouldn't be a moment's too soon, because the infrastructure, if you look at the mathematics of this, if you look at the infrastructure of this, it's not good. Like, the mathematics of them sending out all those messages and doing all of those things is immense. So, that's my rant. It will probably get nowhere, and nobody will be interested. But heed what I have to say. Who am I kidding? Apart from that, there you have it.